Hey yo, I'm Colby from Sanitarium Productions. Back again with another Dungeons & Dragons adventure. In this episode, we're actually going to take a look at the D&D Wrath of Ashardalon board game. This thing came out in 2010, but it's still available at retail, so I will put a link in the description to the product page on Amazon. Feel free to pick it up there, or check with your local gaming store, see if they got it in stock or if they can get it ordered for you, because it's really cool. As you can see, it comes in this massive box. Has some very nice artwork on the front. This is, I guess it was technically 4.5 when this came out. Sorry, 4.5 edition rule set when this came out, but the rule set really isn't relevant to anything. It still works really well with just the 5th edition stuff today, so it's not really tied to any specific kind of rule set, but as far as just the artwork and the style of the game is presented in the same style as 4.5, I guess. So anyways, it's very cool. Nice box art here. Let's go ahead and just flip this thing up a little bit. Take a look at some of the stuff here. It's pretty much the same branding all the way around. On the back of it, we've got a nice kind of picture of what now is included on this thing. You get 42 miniatures, a bunch of dungeon tiles, some actual hero and villain cards, the rule book, the adventure book, all these other cool stuff, and lots of tokens and some dice and stuff. So very cool. You can also pick up some of the other sets. Castle Ravenloft is another one that we will hopefully be taking a look at very soon, but still very cool looking, very nice. Again, a massive box. It is meant for 1 to 5 players, and the good thing about all these adventure sets, board games for D&D, if you have more than one of them, you can actually use the players' sets from the other adventure sets and kind of have more players in the game. So basically the only reason you're limited to 5 players on this is because that's how many player tokens there are. So, get another game and you've got 5 more player tokens basically. So, and you can kind of scale up the monster sessions and things like that to kind of fit however many players you got. But it's a good, easy, out of the box kind of experience to get into for, people who like D&D or who might like D&D and maybe just don't have the time to go do the character creation and all that good stuff. So anyways, let's just go ahead and dive into this thing. Go ahead and get the wrapping paper off of it first. Again, it's a massive box, so need plenty of room to kind of wheel and deal with this thing. So get it to slide out of the box here. Come on, shake loose. There we go. Cardboard on the back. Set that to the side here. And we get our first look at the actual crate here. So we have the rule book. Again, the same kind of artwork here. Same style as the 4E rule set. So we'll just flip through this real quick so you can kind of get an idea of what's going on. The actual rules and how this thing works is the same as any of the other adventure sets that you can get. So if you've played one, you can get up to speed on this one pretty quick. It works the same way. So anyway, there's the rule book. Then we also get a nice adventure book here that kind of tells you the specific scenarios for this game. The way these actually work is essentially you've got, let's see here. In this particular one, we've got 13 adventures, and you can either do a campaign, which basically starts at the beginning, adventure 1, and work your way through to the end, or you can pick up random adventures. So roll a set of dice and see what number you come up with, and then just go to that module and run through that particular thing. It does tell you basically which of these tiles you need to start with, and then you kind of randomize everything else. So in theory, you're not going to run the same adventure twice, so the replay value on these things is really outstanding. Let's just flip through this a little bit more. All these are basically the same layout wise, not content wise. Very nice though. Then we also get an insert here for some of the other D&D things, modules and such like that. Flip it over to the back, you've got kind of the same thing, just some of the other stuff that you have available. And then we actually get into the actual set itself. So up first we've got these nice tiles. So let's open the tile pack. And see what they are. I won't be popping these things out for this video. I'm going to try to keep it a little short. Well, I say that. My videos are never short. So shorter than it could be if I went through and popped out all these little pieces. But any which way, we got this first tile sheet. They are double-sided here. So you get kind of the blind side down. And then when you flip it over, it reveals what the actual tile itself is, plus all these tokens over to the side. So that's cool. And then we get the second tile sheet. Tile number 3. And tile number 4. Very cool. And now we actually get into some of the actual contents of the game. So we'll pull this stuff out here. You've got a set of cards, which we will look at momentarily. We've got the second set of tile cards. We've got a big old bag of minis, which we will look at definitely here momentarily. And then the boss mini, the actual dragon with a dice in there. So cool. And then we actually have the trays themselves. These are great for keeping things organized. Set that over here. And we have another set of tile sheets. Let's see how we get these out. Cool. So there is the next set of tiles, and we'll look at those as well. Let me set this one to this side over here. Running out of room pretty quick. The cards over here, and let's go ahead and pop the seal on these. So you do get quite a bit of these things. And these are great to run as just for normal D&D campaigns as well. So again, that replayability value for your money is definitely here, because you do get all this cool content here. So here's tile sheet 5. And then 6. And they do have some of these that have the names on them. So this is Horrid Chamber, Large Horrid Chamber. Cool. And this one is basically a dungeon crawler. So hence why all of our tiles are mainly dungeon tiles, actual dungeon pieces. Hallways and stuff like that. So some really nice detail if you actually get in there and look at it real close. You can see like little pieces of bone scattered around, and like there's a sword and an axe there. So, and this one has our character sheets, some of them anyways, and then some more miscellaneous things here. So very cool. The actual character sheets themselves are two-sided, so you have basically your when you first start playing the game, and then as you level up to second level, you flip the card over and you've got some new stats to go along with that. So that's a pretty interesting way of keeping up with the level progression and things like that. So and then number 13, our starting tile, and our villain card, Ashardalon, the Red Dragon. And we have, a beholder. So we may get lucky and get to see a beholder in this set. So anyways, there are all of these awesome tiles. And again, we'll punch these out at some other point in time, not during this particular set, but a really awesome set here for actual tiles. I'll stick these things back in the box till I actually get around to dealing with them as the punch outs and everything like that. So yes, moving right along, we've got the minis still to take a look at and the cards themselves. So we are going to go ahead and dive into the cards first. So we're going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit, so hold on while we do that. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Alright, that looks pretty good. Let's start with just this side here. Pop these off. Throw that in the trash. So we have a couple of these different decks, and they're pretty much laid out. So you have basically encounter cards, and then you have the wizard cards, so your player characters and their ability cards. So that's what's in this set. We'll flip this over and just flip through these things real quick so you can kind of see what the cards are. They come in really handy in the game itself and kind of help you through the actual adventure. Pretty straightforward, so if you're going to like cast a spell, here's Sacred Flame, and you would just follow the actions on the card. And we're not going to spend a whole lot of time, but feel free to pause this if you have any questions about specific cards. I should probably keep talking during this thing, but I don't really know what to say about these particular cards. They're just standard kind of ability cards, and they really work really well within the game. We actually played one from, what the devil was that? I don't remember. One of the other big sets in the series. And we had a couple of different people. Some people had played D&D before. Some of the people in the group had never played anything like that before. And Wayne, one of the people that hadn't normally, he's not really a gamer, doesn't play a whole lot, but he ended up being he got into the game pretty well, which was kind of surprising, but he ended up really having a really great time. So this is really a good kind of party atmosphere game if you're just looking to do stuff. It also works for like team building exercises if you are needing something at your work environment. Again, you do kind of have to keep the table limited. You only have 5 player characters, but you can get away with 6 if somebody is doing the acting as the DM, I guess you might say. Which in reality, you don't really need a DM for this. The game pretty well runs itself. It's all draw a card and follow the action kind of thing, and then you let the players themselves kind of determine all the rest of this stuff as far as, figuring out if they hit or not. It's pretty simple. It's like, this is whatever the range attack stuff is. You can actually count on the actual tiles themselves to see how far you can actually see if you can hit someone. So it's pretty straightforward, pretty easy to kind of keep up with. They have laid these things out really well. And it flows very easily. It doesn't really take a whole lot of extra time to explain things or anything like that. You just kind of learn on the fly, and it works pretty well. This is more of a combat kind of system than an actual role-playing system, I guess you might say. You can get into some of the role-playing aspects, but it is pretty well kind of dependent upon the actual battle system kind of thing, sorry. So here we actually got some cards that are for your players to use as reference sheets. So those are really nice. You just kind of hand one out to everybody in the game, and they kind of get a quick reference sheet, and so they know how to play the game and whose turn it is and those kinds of things. So those are always nice to have. Then in this set we actually have boons. We've got the adventure itself, so adventure cards. Then we got more encounter cards, chamber cards. We've got treasure cards, which are always nice and easy to use as a quick reference in an actual D&D session if you're kind of stumped at the last minute and need to get something done. And then we have our monster cards. And this is the deck that basically you, when you have an encounter, you reach into the monster deck and it randomly tells you which creature you're up against, which is great. So if we were to just take this one, for instance, we would flip it over and say this is a Durgar Guard, and that's who would be up against in that particular fight. So, and then we got a couple more encounter cards. So very nice. The artwork on the back is kind of generic, but it still works really well. It's very easy to tell these cards apart when they're on the table. Flipping it over here so we can kind of see what's going on. We've got Poison Dart, Rolling Boulder, Whirling Blades. Then we get into the monster cards themselves, the Cave Bear, and you'll have a couple of different ones that are duplicates because you will face more than one character or creature at one time, so you may actually go into a cave and have 3 of these Cave Bears. So yeah, that probably wouldn't be a very good bit of luck if you actually ran into it. Gibbering Mouthers, Grell, Human Cultist, Kobold Dragon Shield, Legion Devil, Orc Archer, Orc Smasher, Snake, and we got magic items, so this is like the treasure cards. Magic Sword, Amulet of Protection, Blessed Shield, Boots of Striding, Box of Caltrops, Bracers of Defense, Crossbow of Speed, Dragon Tooth Pick, Dwarven Hammer, Elven Cloak, Flying Carpet, Gauntlets of Ogre Power, Lucky Charms, Pearl of Power, Potion of Healing. These things come in very handy. Potion of Recovery, Potion of Rejuvenation, because you will die sometimes, so you need some of these. Potion of Speed, Ring of Shooting Stars, Scroll of Monster Control, Shield of Protection, Staff of the Elements, Thieves' Tools, Throwing Shield, Tome of Experience, Vorpal Sword, Wand of Fear, Wand of Polymorph, Ashardalon's Lair, Corrupted Guardians, Durgar Garrison, Elite Regiment, Endless Horde, Evil Altar Chamber, Gate Ceremony, Kobold Clan Lair, Orc Clan Lair, Prison Guard, Refuse Pit, Stables, Treasure Hoard, Unknown Overlord, Destroy the Villain. Ashardalon arrives, Ceremony progresses, the Vast Gate flares, Ashardalon breathes. Alec, Brandis, Cassie, Donald, Eleazar, bypassed guards, Durgar defeated, Dwarven traitors, Kobolds clobbered, Orcs overwhelmed, and shortcut. So you get a pretty good sense of the game itself. It sounds really cool. I'm actually really anxious to get around to actually playing this one. But that's your 2 card decks. So we'll slide those to the side over here now. And it's miniature time. We'll start with, and we'll save the big guy for the last. So these do come all kind of sealed in this nice bag here. So we're just going to open the bag up, dump these guys out. These sets are really great for people who are miniature painters because they do come unpainted. In some of the later boxes, they actually gave an option of basically the I don't know what to call it, but they have two sets, two different versions of the box. You have the regular version and basically the bigger version, which just includes the miniatures that are already pre-painted. But the regular versions are much cheaper and they come unpainted, so it's kind of cool. So you do get quite a few miniatures in here. So if you're looking to kind of just upgrade your army and your characters and stuff like that, these are great sets for those, because they are pretty much all in the same scale of regular D&D figures. So we're going to actually start here with this blue set, and we're going to zoom in again, and we're just going to open all these little bags here and take a look at the individual characters and see what we got. So starting out with the blue, most of the time the way these things are color coded, it makes it easy to kind of know which is which. Usually this, like the blue ones here, are going to be your player characters. So we've actually got 5 of these. So you get to pick which of these guys you actually want to be as your actual character. So yeah, pretty cool. We'll just kind of dump these out here. So just a scale comparison before we get into this here. I've got the Northern Fighter from the Epic Adventure miniature set here. So these are well within the standard scale of regular D&D miniatures. This guy's a little bit big anyways. He's kind of like a barbarian thing. So anyways, we have pretty nice scale. They work really well. So we'll not kind of spend too much time on that, but zoom in a little bit here so we get a little bit better light. There we go. So this one is Calith, the Elf Paladin. There we go, if you can get that on the light there. All these do have the character names on the bottom, or the monster name on the bottom, so very easy to kind of, you don't have to memorize who these things are. So anyways, this one is got some nice detail. I've always liked the designs on these things. Excuse me. That's the Elf Paladin there, so very nice looking. Next up we've got Heskin, the Dragonborn Wizard. Again, very nice looking. And the plastic is this nice solid plastic here. You don't have to worry about it being flimsy or anything like that. So very nice. Again, really cool details. They do need to be painted. Well, I want to paint them, I should say. They don't need to be painted. Again, you can play these out of the box without any prep work. These work great. So this is Quinn, the Human Cleric. Really nice looking. Really cool details on all the armor and everything. Some of the faces don't have a whole lot of detail on them, so you kind of, but again, they're this kind of small scale anyway, so it's really kind of hard to get real good facial details in these things, but it still works really well for what it is. This is Tarek, the Half-Orc Rogue. There we go. So occasionally you will run across things like this, where like this sword is a little bent, and it's a little flimsy, so you want to be careful with that so you don't break it. But that's really the only drawback I see to any of these things, is just the way that some of these weapons end up being. But as you can see, the crossbow here, still a little bit flimsy, but still works really well. Again, some really nice detail work on this thing. Very nice. And then our last player character is Vistra, the Dwarf Fighter. This one's pretty cool looking. I like the wolf cloak. And some interesting shield stuff and a really big hammer. So, yeah, very cool looking. So, that is our player characters. Slide those to the side now and grab another bag. These typically start getting into the monsters. And we've got quite a few of these to go through, so just kind of bear with us. We'll go through all of them because that's kind of what we're here for. Alrighty. So, in this pack we get 4. And we got kind of a small beholder here, so that's cool. Let's just start with this guy here. So this is Bellax Gouth, however you want to pronounce that. So pretty nice looking. Decent detail work on here. I was hoping for a larger beholder, but this works pretty well. Then next we have Crash, the Orc Storm Shaman. Or Crash, if you want to get into the inflection side of it. So anyways, this one's pretty cool looking. He's got some nice spiky bits on his blade there. Some really cool detail on the fur coat. Pretty cool. Very nice. Up next we have Margrath, the Drugar Captain. There you go. Pretty cool looking. And the last one we have here is Merrick, the Kobold Dragon Lord. Sorry. There you go. Getting some really nice detail work here. And there's a car going by, being really loud. But there you go. So there are those 4. Slide those to the side and grab another one. Dump these guys out. I really like miniatures. If nothing else, for in this particular set here, the miniatures are definitely worth the price of admission. I think this particular box set I got for around 50, and we got like 40 some miniatures in here. So yeah, that's a really good deal. So let's just start here. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in this pack. So we'll start with this guy. This is the Drugar Guard. And shift these a little bit so we can kind of see here. This is a nice gray color here, so hopefully we can still see all the details in it. Very cool looking. I like the way the cape here is kind of frayed. Very nice looking. Set him to the side and grab another guy. This is an Orc Archer. This guy looks very cool. Got a nice bow going on here, and again, you will kind of get some of these slightly bent weapons sometimes. So this arrow is a little bent. You can heat this up a little bit with some warm water and kind of reform that a little bit. So not too worried about that. That kind of happens in all of them, but it's just something to be aware of anyways. How's that? But spinny time. Cool details though. Like all the little arrows in his back holster thing. Nice. This one is another Drugar Guard. It's it's the same as the other one here. So we got a pack of these. So let's just see how many of these Duergar guards we got. Most of the time, yeah, so we got 3 of these guys. So you do get some duplicates, so you can have some actual factions and things like that. And now that I'm noticing that, we also have a couple of these archers. And we should have 3 of them, actually. And we do. We've got 3 of those archers. So, cool. The last unique character in here is the Orc Smasher. And we do have 3 of these as well. Sorry, I keep tapping the camera. 3 of these guys as well. So, and this guy looks really awesome here. He's got a lot of details. You can see all the like chainmail and things like that. Very nice. Really cool. So yeah, 3 of these guys. So that's basically 3 sets of 3 in this pack. Very nice. Slide these over here to the side. And grab our next pack, which are these red guys. And we start getting into some slightly larger scale minis in this pack, which is nice. So out of this set, let's just go ahead and kind of sort them real quick. We got 3 of those, 3 of these, 3 of these, and 1 of these guys. So nice. We'll just slide these to the side here. And start with the snake guys here. So this one is just called a snake, strangely enough. But really nice detail here. He's got lots of little spiky bits all over. So very nice looking. And you can never have enough of these guys. So this one's really cool. And we do get 3 of those in the set. Then we've got this guy who is a Legion Devil. Spin him around a bit. So you can see all the cool detail on this guy. Scale wise, just to kind of keep some consistency here, you can kind of see here he's a little bit bigger than the standard player character. May need to get a different player character to start. Here's the one of these guys, these blue guys. So slightly bigger, slightly taller. So, but nice for reference there. So we got 3 of those, and then we got this guy here who is the Human Cultist. This one is really cool looking. Got lots of little skeleton dudes on his skulls on his back. Yeah, this guy's awesome. Very nice. 3 of those guys. And then our slightly larger mini here is the Rage Drake. So, scale wise, a little bit bigger here. Starting to get into some cool stuff here. Again, the detail level on this thing is pretty outstanding. Rawr, he's going to eat somebody. Yeah, so there are all the ones out of that set. I'm going to start running out of room here pretty quick. I said that before, I think, but now I'm actually meaning it. Next up, we have this kind of orange color thing. And we got, I'm actually going to zoom up a little bit on this guy. So we are starting to get into some slightly bigger miniatures. We have a cool little case here of these guys. Yeah, these are cool. Sorry, y'all can't see all of those at one time. There we go. Let's zoom a little bit more. Sorry, my camera keeps moving a little bit. It's getting a little wonky here. So we get these guys, we get a big guy here, we get 3 of these bear looking things, we get 3 of these thingies here, and 3 of these thingies here. So yeah, cool. Let's start with these little bitty guys here. And I guess I'm going to have to zoom back in now, so sorry about this. But you want to be able to see things, right? So we're going to make it so you can see it without straining your eyes. So this guy is the Kobold Dragon Shield. Kobold. I'm terrible at pronouncing these names, so very nice though, very cool. Lots of nice little detail. 3 of those guys. And we've got this thing, which is the Gibbering Mouther. Got a little bit of scuffing going on this one, but still some really cool detail here. It's slightly hard to pick out in this particular color scheme, but still looks really awesome. Lots of little mouths going everywhere. Huh, very cool. 3 of those guys. We have this bigger cave bear. 3 of these. Some nice detail going on these guys as well. This kind of reminds me of the bear off of Annihilation with Natalie Portman. If you've not seen that, it's kind of a weird movie, but pretty interesting. There's some scale comparison again. It's just a slightly bigger than this guy, but much bulkier. So, anyways, 3 of these cave bears. And we got these guys that come in their own little case. Or plastic tray, I guess you could say. See if I can get one of them out. This is a Grell. If I'm saying that right, Grell. Very awesome looking though. This definitely reminds me of some of the monsters from the Metroid game. Very nice. It's kind of like a brain with a beak and then all these tendrils coming out of them. So very cool looking though. I like this guy. So 3 of those, and then our big monster here. There we go. The really large monster, Otyug. Y'all see that? Otyug? I don't know. Have no idea how to say that one. But very cool looking. Crazy looking guy here. He's got 3 legs and a bunch of tendrils. And he starts to kind of dwarf our regular characters now. So, yeah. Very nice there. So there is all of our basic miniatures from this set. Let's slide all these guys back over here so you get, like I say, a whole bunch of these things. Very nice, very cool, lots of detail on all these guys. So yes, cool set. We're going to shove them to the side now and get in here to the main attraction here, the main bad guy, the dragon, Ashardalon. Let's go ahead and slice open this guy. Oh, and I forgot, we get a set of dice here, or a die in here, 20-sided. Pretty straightforward. Rolled a 7 there. Rolled a terrible there. So anyways, but you get the dice here so we can roll whatever we need to. If you have extras of these laying around, which you probably do, It's not a bad idea to take a couple of these with you with the game so that you can give one to each player. It is kind of aggravating to pass these things around the table all the time. So yeah, having a couple extra of these and throwing them in your bag isn't a bad idea for these sessions. Anyways, our last guy here is Ashardalon, the Red Dragon. Here we are. Ashardalon, the Red Dragon. This guy looks pretty cool. Again, is a slightly larger scale. Looks really nice. Some nice detail work all the way around. Scale wise, we have a much larger scale here, so he actually starts looking like a dragon is supposed to, and scale wise looks really good. I was looking to see, and I don't have any of the actual dragons from the D&D miniatures floating around, so can't do a real size comparison here. But anyways, this guy does look awesome. There's a little bit of plasticky thing that I'll need to trim a little bit, and you will occasionally see that in these miniatures where they like pull them off the sprues or whatever they have. May have to go in there and do a little bit of touch-up work. Just kind of glaring on this one. His snout there has this little plastic imperfection there, so most people won't care about that, but you know, I do, so I'm going to fix that. But beyond that, this thing is great. If we take a look at our player character beside it here, it works really well. Very nice. So yeah, there is a Ashardalon, the Red Dragon. So now that we have all that stuff done, it's time to just talk in general about the overall thoughts of this particular set. So what I am interested in is, for all you out there, drop some comments down below. Let us know what you think of this particular set here. What do you think about the miniatures themselves? What do you think about the actual game if you've played through it? If you haven't played through it, I definitely recommend you do that. But just kind of let us know what you think here. For me, I actually love these particular D&D games. I have trouble finding and carving out enough time to do like larger campaigns from the D&D world. So I do like these kind of smaller scale sets that kind of get that same fix for me. I get to go play in the D&D world and battle monsters and find treasure and all that good stuff. But it's definitely a kind of shorter time frame. Generally, one of the modules in these games can be played through in about an hour and a half. If you build, 30 minutes into it for getting people up to speed and getting the game actually set up the first time, it generally runs for about 2 hours. So, I mean, that's a pretty good amount of time. But if you have gotten everybody acclimated to the system, that second session can go in about an hour, somewhere like that. So these are good for just kind of smaller sessions that you really don't have a whole lot of time to prepare for. You don't have, a whole night to dedicate to your gaming needs. These work really great for that. I do love the setting. This particular one, the Wrath of Ashardalon, looks really awesome. I like all the characters that I've seen so far. Really anxious to get in there and battle that dragon. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I give this one a highly recommended, kind of 2 thumbs up, I guess, for that. So anyways, that's all the time we've got for today. Sorry for running a little bit longer than usual on this thing, but we got a lot of minis to go through here. So it's a great value. You get 40 some miniatures in the set, so it comes down to less than $1 a piece, plus all the other stuff you get in the set. So yeah, go pick it up. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to our channel. Give us a big thumbs up if you're digging what you saw. If you'd like to see something specific looked at in the future, drop a comment down below as well. Let us know that. There's a little notification icon up in the top corner somewhere where it will let you know when we have new things posted. And again, I'll put a link to the Amazon page in the description. So if you're interested in picking this thing up, you can theoretically go and purchase it, and a little bit of the proceeds from that transaction at no additional cost to you might come back to me to help with this channel, and maybe it doesn't. I don't know. We'll figure out. But anyways, thanks for watching, and until next time, game on!